House to now adjourn. I'm a member for Saanich Gulf Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and congratulations to my friends from Simcoe Grey. Those who are watching it starting at Late Show won't know what just happened. But in any case, that was a good moment. I'm speaking tonight to a question that I asked in question period on January 28th, and it related to what the government had announced as intended cuts to the civil service. Now, the reason I asked the question on that date was I was particularly concerned because within my riding of Saanich Gulf Islands and elsewhere on Vancouver Island, we were getting news that people involved in the critical work of emergency response in the case of oil spills were already receiving their pink slips. They were being told that they were to be removed from their position, and it appeared to be everyone in that department. We have since found out, and it was the same day that I asked the question in question period, January 28th, that the Public Service Alliance of Canada held their own press conference to say that they were informed that there would be about 8,000 workers of the federal civil service who were also to be terminated. Since the time I asked the question, it's now confirmed that about 800 of those people are from Parks Canada. Today, I heard from concerned constituents that an interpreter within Gulf Islands National Park, an essential connection for the visiting public on Saturna Island, that position is being terminated. I mean, the list goes on. Many workers within Environment and Climate Change Canada, particularly those who do critical work in understanding and tracking what we're doing to respond to climate change, which is less by the day, so there's less to track. But there's no question that we're seeing significant cuts to the civil service. We are seeing some reduction in an area that I'm very concerned we could see cuts in federal spending, which is the billions of dollars spent on outside consultants. Again, back to the Public Service Alliance of Canada, we have civil service workers with expertise. And if they are put in the role of delivery, they're a lot less expensive than asking Deloitte or McKinsey or others of the billion-dollar management consultants that are all around the world that have been getting too much of the public purse in Canada to do the work that we should be doing internally with our own public service and public sector workers. I saw a recent statement that the Government of Canada in Budget 2026 was going to cut by 20% the amount they're spending. That still, by my calculation, leaves us spending about $4 billion on outside consultants for-profit agencies from outside of Canada for the most part. But what are we cutting here? So again, the cuts in science, the cuts in agriculture research stations across Canada, the cuts in the Ocean Protection Plan, which appears no longer to exist. We're looking at significant cuts across the board. As I said, the Public Service Alliance of Canada says they're estimating 8,000 workers. Now, the government says most of that, and the answer I got that day, by the way, on January 28th, the minister himself stood to answer, which is somewhat unusual. So President of the Treasury Board did stand to answer my question and did say that there were going to be cuts that would be done through voluntary measures. But I rather think, as ever, when a government is putting through significant cuts that affect the services that Canadians want, that they do tend to downplay it and say, well, let's do it by attrition. Let's find some people. We could give them a buyout package and encourage them to leave now, knowing that their job is hanging by a thread anyway. I never did get a clear answer to my concern about specifically the workers who are supposed to be ready, although we know if there was ever a Dilbit spill of diluted bitumen, we don't have the technology to clean it up. But I hope tonight we can get a clear answer. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.